Okay, 3.8b. Let's go ahead and finish where we left off. We had put these in a column position rather than the vertical going from left to right. And the reason for that is it kind of saves you a little bit of time with your steps. So all we're going to do is we're going to rewrite the 3 and the 4 again. But what we're going to do is we're going to look and see what our common denominators are. And we know from doing this problem 2 other times that our common denominator is 15. So we multiplied the 3 times 5 and the 2 times 5. And we multiplied this 5 times 3 and this 1 times 3 in order to get our 15. So what we're going to do is we're going to rewrite it again. Our whole numbers stay the same. And our 2 times 5 is 10, 3 times 5 is 15. 1 times 3 is 3, 5 times 3 is 15, our 4 stays there, and we add. So now all we have to do is add our 3 and the 4 and get 7, and our 10 and 3 and get 13, and we're done. So it's a little bit less work, less steps, plus a lot of people like just adding this way because they're used to doing that, so it makes it a little bit easier because it's familiar. So let's try another one. Let's try 5 and 3/4, and let's add 9 and 5/6 to that. Alright, so we've got to find out what our common denominators are. 6 breaks down to 2 times 3, let me make that arrow, and our 4 breaks down to 2 times 2. Okay, 2 occurs once here, twice here, 3 occurs once there, none there. So my common denominator is 2 times 2 times 3, which is 12. So what did I have to do to my 4 to make it a 12? I had to multiply it by 3. So I multiplied the top by 3. And the bottom, I multiplied the bottom by 2 to get 12, and the top by 2. So I end up with 5 and 9 over 12 plus 9, remember the whole parts don't change, 10 over 12. Now I can just add these guys together. I get 14, and I get 9 plus 10 is 19 over 12. Alright, so if we look at that answer there, 19 over 12, we've got a little bit of a problem here. You cannot leave an answer a mixed number with an improper fractional part of it. If there's an improper fraction in your mixed number, you have to simplify that. You have to keep going. So we have to change this into an improper fraction because 19 over 12 is an improper fraction. So we need to change it into a mixed number. So let's take that 19/12. We'll just kind of ignore the 14. We'll stick it over here. It's part of our answer. But let's change this to a mixed number first. So we have 19 and we have 12. So 12 goes into 19 one time, 12, and 9 minus 2 is 7. So this is actually 1 7/12. So we're going to take this, and if you remember, 14 and 19 over 12, or 13 and 1/2, whatever fraction you want to use for here, when you have a mixed number, this is the same as adding the whole part of the number with the fraction. So we're going to use that rule when we put this back together. This is the same as 14 plus 19 over 12, or the same as 14 plus 1 7/12. Alright? So we just add our whole parts, and we tag on our fraction, and that ends up being our answer when all is said and done. Alright, let's try another one of those. Let's try 5 and 2/3, and let's do it the vertical way again, and let's do 6 and 8 over 9. Alright, so 9 and 3, 3 is a prime number, so that doesn't break down, and 3 becomes our prime factors of our 9. 3 occurs twice there, so our common denominator is 9. Alright, so we multiplied this 3 times 3 to get 9, and we multiplied this 9 by 1. We didn't do anything to that, it stayed the same. So that gives me 5 and 6 over 3. This gives me or I'm sorry, 9. 3 times 3 is 9 on the bottom. The 6 is going to be 8 over 9. Now we're going to add these two. So when we add these, we get 5 and 6 is 11, 6 and 8 is 14 over 9. Now remember, this is the same as 11 plus 14 over 9. So what we do here is we change our 14 over 9 to a mixed number. We can't leave it improper, so let's do that right here. 9 goes into 14 once, 9, 5 left over, so 1 and 5 ninths. So 14 over 9 is the same as 1 and 5 ninths, and we're going to add that to our 11 and get 12 and 1 ninth. So that ends up being our final answer there, if I did everything right. Now let's go back and check to see if what I did is correct. We've got 6 ninths, 6, 8 ninths, 14 ninths. Okay, so when we change 14 ninths, that's 12. I got a little bit of a mistake here. See, what I did here is I took that and for some reason put a 1/9 there. So let's change that to a 5. Real simple mistakes can screw it all up for you, so make sure you pay attention like I apparently didn't. Alright, so 12 and 5 ninths ends up being your final answer there. Alright, so let's do some subtraction. Same method, not really too much different. Let's do the vertical or the horizontal method first. When you have a common denominator, it makes life a lot easier, because then you just subtract your whole parts. 3 minus 1 is 2. And your fractional parts, well, they're already common denominators, so 9 minus 3 is 6. And you have 2 and 6/10. Then you have to look at your fractional part to see if that can be reduced. And of course it can, because 3 times 2 is our prime factoring of the 6. 2 times 5 is our prime factoring of the 10. We can divide out our 2's. And 6/10 reduces to 3/5. And we bring our 2 back down here, and that ends up being our final answer there. Alright. Continuing on, let's do 12 and 7/10, and let's do the vertical method. 8 and 3/5. Okay, we need a common denominator. So we're going to leave this 12 and 7/10 because our common denominator is 10. So we had to multiply this by 2 to get those to be a 10. So we have 8 and 6 over 10, and we can subtract. Well, our 7 minus 1 is 1, so we have 1/10 there. 12 minus 8 is 4, and we end up with 4 and 1/10. Okay, this next section is on borrowing when we're talking mixed numbers and subtraction. I'm going to go ahead and start a 3.8c, and we'll start doing that.